Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to RetroIsland.com. The only site for everything retro. RetroIsland.com. The Retro Island Network for everything retro. RetroIsland.com. Gentlemen, and welcome to episode 87 of I Got Gameplay. Yes, this is the show that makes you want to jizz in your pants of gaming goodness. It's the Adam to your Eve, to your apple, to your snake, to your biblical times and big proportions. Yes, this is the gaming show that makes you love to hate us. We're kind of like Marmite. That's a shout out to Mr. Dave Wade, of course, who can't attend the show today with us. He's basically doing his own thing at this point in time and can't make it in today. But that's all good because I've got some amazing hosts on the show. So we'll start first with a returning guest who's basically been on the show loads but has been busy with personal life and stuff and Music City Radio and stuff. He is Mr. Chris Locks.
Hey, what's going on? I Got Gameplay. It's been a while.
Dude, you sound so high.
I am totally high.
There you go.
I can smoke weed at work. It's fucking great.
I need a job. That would be awesome. I'll be baked all day. I'll just be like,
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, just come out to California and get some of that sativa.
That's what I should be doing. I should be doing Kevin Smith's job. Kevin Smith. Oh, by the way, apparently he's come out as bi-curious, which...
I heard that, yeah.
What does that mean? He's married with a wife that he loves to have sex with, but he does find men attractive.
That means that he's just too chicken shit to fuck a guy, basically.
Oh, okay.
Or get fucked by a guy. I don't know.
So
I mean, I get it.
Straight then. That's it. That's like saying, I understand where gays are coming from, but I don't really want a penis up my backside.
I mean, yeah. I feel it.
Well, you probably don't feel it. If you're feeling it right now, I'll be worried. You'll be thinking, hey, Mike!
I can relate. I don't want to take a penis up my backside.
Yeah, me too. So
I'm okay with not doing that.
Yeah.
Then again, I mean, fucking a dude is a whole different thing.
Yes, of course.
You know, being the fucker instead of the fucky.
So Louisville. We're introducing as well. He is a YouTube guru, of course, and he's one of my close friends as well. Hasn't been on the show in a while. And he's making his return today. He is Mr. Nick Enderly.
How's it going?
I'm good, Mr. Enderly. I'm just talking like this for a little bit because I sound like I'm from Alabama. Yes, we're basically haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Just a lot of family and health issues. Work has been having me up working till later on, so this is one of the few chances I've had to be on the show, and I'm happy to hear with this wonderful, beautiful crew.
Yes. We've got a few more people who are going to be joining us. Eventually Travis Goss, if he turns up, and also Mr. Zach Latour will be joining us. And then we will get down to the topics. And, of course, today's show is kind of a different one. Decided to spitball a little bit and do a bit of gaming news, because we haven't talked gaming news properly in a while. due to the fact we've had some big shows. We had Mega Ran on the show, which was awesome. We also had Rossiter from Twin Perfect on the show. And on August 16th, due to the fact that he's been pushing it back a lot, due to his other commitments, of course, we're going to have Fungo on the show, which is going to be awesome. If you guys don't know Fungo, you should check out Night at the Hill, which check out the whole Night at the Roxbury feel, but with Silent Hill 2. And also check out Twin Perfect's The Real Silent Hill Retrospective, which was done by Rossiter Fungo and Defuge as well. And it's a great set of videos to actually see what these guys are capable of. You know, they're amazing. And the fact that they haven't got as much airtime and sort of as much of a big fan base in comparison to other guys like the Angry Video Game Nerd, Nostalgia Critic, astounds me. I don't understand it. I think these guys, you know, they're amazing in my point of view. I know I'm such a fanboy, but still. Now, let's go on to a little bit of news as we start the show. So let's do that, shall we?
Let's do it.
So, Mr. Quick Locks, what's in the news this week?
What's in the news? PlayStation Now is in the news.
Oh, God, yes. PlayStation Now.
What is going on with that? I mean, okay, so here's the deal. I will admit, I've been out of the loop on gaming news for a while, but I did notice that that announcement on PlayStation Now. What is it, like the streaming? They're streaming games now?
Yeah, and stream games. But there's a little thing that they've added on it, which makes no fucking sense. Like, for 30 days, you can play your favorite games, ladies and gentlemen, for $40.
Yay!
That makes no sense. I could buy it
Why the
for 10.
fuck would I want to do that if I can just buy a disc that I'll have forever for $40?
There you go. Exactly.
And that doesn't make any sense. Does anybody who collects games not want to keep their games? I mean, I don't know. When I had my game collection, I would just always like build onto it, and I love fucking looking at my game collection, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I loved having a whole bunch of games that they're mine. I paid for them. They're mine. You know, like, why do you want to take it away from me? 90 days later?
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what I don't get either. It's like, why would you? That's a ridiculous price to ask people to pay for, just for the comfort of streaming.
I think
games.
It's more than ridiculous. It's gratuitous, and it's fucking greedy. And video games really suck right now. I'm pretty pissed. What's going on?
I know. I don't get it as well. And you know, Sony had such a triumphant E3 in 2013. 2014 E3, they came around, and everyone was just like, there's a fat guy in a suit telling us that Sony's going to be great and that they've got a TV deal going on with this Powers show based on a comic book by Image. Yay!
Ugh.
And it was kind of doing what Microsoft did a year ago and not learning their lesson. It made me laugh. And
I mean, I think that it's more. I think that Sony's just trying to test the limits of what people will actually pay them. You know, like if they feel like they're giving out such a superior product, which, I mean, to be fair, like I've played both at PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and I fucking love the PlayStation 4. But like, you know, I feel like they're just trying to push the limits and say, you know, if we price it that way, someone's gonna fucking buy it, right? Because where else are they gonna go? To Microsoft? Ha ha ha! You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't get it in whole far. You know, in all fairness, say like for instance, I say, right, I'm gonna do the IGG t-shirts, and you're buying these t-shirts for $10 a pop, and then I rent you the fucking t-shirt for $40 a pop. You're gonna sit there and go, fuck it, I'm just gonna go back to the t-shirt that I had.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
it doesn't make sense to me at all.
I mean, somebody's there's obviously a demand for it, though. That's the thing. Like, the reason that they do these ideas, they put these ideas out in the public, is because there was some sort of a test, or they went and they filtered all of these ideas, and they decided that, hey, people will actually pay for this. People want this. Somebody out there is fucking asking for this bullshit, and that's the real problem. Don't blame the fucking companies. Blame gamers, man.
Well,
gamers,
I blame the companies because they're not putting their pricing structure appropriately. If you're basically putting something out there, you want to make it an alternative and do, you know, Nintendo, I think, have done a good way about it. They've said, look, if you buy online games from us, or if you've got a downloadable version of a game that you purchase, we will give you a $5 voucher that you can spend on any other games. that makes that worth it. That's like, okay, if I pay $40, I'll have it on disc, but I don't get a $5 voucher. If I buy it online, I get a $5 voucher.
Yeah, sure, that's all good and well, but what I'm saying is that there is a sect of gamers, people out there, they're probably not even gamers. I probably don't want to even call them gamers, but there's a sect of people out there that will pay for this. That's why they think they can do it, because somebody out there will pay for it. They wouldn't put that idea out into the public unless it was filtered and screened a whole bunch of times, and then they were like, holy shit, somebody's actually going to fucking spend $40 and only keep a game. Probably the same people that will buy a game and then return it back to GameStop fucking as soon as they beat it. You know what I mean? Those are the type of people that I think they're trying to attract right now. I'm not that type of person. I like having a fucking collection, but I know that there's a bunch of people out there that they buy a game, 2 weeks later they'll bring it back to GameStop and get something else.
Yeah, what do you think, Nick? What do you think of this? Do you think it's a bad thing?
I think the whole PlayStation Now thing is kind of a jib. If you're paying to stream a game, I think they're trying to take more like the Netflix approach, the Hulu approach, where, hey, we can stream stuff in, there's no physical content. Not only that, but renting a game for their prices, I agree. I'd rather go out and buy a game than have to stream it to a system. It's not a good business idea, but in one sense, if you really think about it, for someone who may live, 2-3 hours away from a game store, or they may have a problem having stuff shipped to them, they may look at this as a better thing for them because they can play the game without long distance. And I've been in that situation before where if you want a game, either you go online to buy it and have it shipped to you and pray that they ship it to where you live, or you just wait and see if you can find somebody local who has it. But at their rates...
Somebody please think of the children!
But no, I mean, that's exactly what I mean. Like, that's exactly the type of consumer that would find that to be a bargain. And there might be a large sect of people that can't do that. I mean, I don't know, I live in a city, you live in a city, like, I don't know, Nick, where are you right now? I don't know.
I live in Iowa, and, like, there are areas where you have to drive 1 to 2 hours to get to the nearest place that actually has, like, a Walmart or Target, somewhere like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would make sense in that case. But I guess I'm saying that there might be a large portion of gamers that want it, that have that problem, and so they're trying to, like, maybe appease them. The thing is, I still think the pricing's pretty high. I'm looking at this pricing list right now. I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like, you get Adventure Time for 90 days for $30. That's insane. It should be like 10. Especially since, like, how do you know that you're gonna have the time to fucking beat the game in 90 days? Let's spend $30 and not even fucking. I don't know, man. This is bullshit. I'm mad.
I think that's what they actually want. If you think about it, like, how many people think about when they go to rent something, they think, oh, I have to go return it by this time frame. Do I have the time? And especially if you start playing something and you're like, oh, I got to go back and play more. Your 90 days has passed, so I'm going to lay down a few more bucks for it. Not a lot of people, unless you're a kid who is a constant gamer or someone who has no life, and they just sit at home playing games, they're going to think about that more. And I work retail, so one of the things you have to look at is, look at the people who have the money who would just think it into, okay, Jimmy, here's my credit card. You get this game that you want. Little Jimmy goes, oh, hey, here's Mom and Dad's credit card. I'm going to get more and more games. The parent just gave their card to the kid, so that gave them permission. They're actually creating a problem for themselves. It's going to either slap them back in the face with a big schlong, or they're just basically going to expect people to just take it up the rear and not think about it.
I agree. They look at it because, in all fairness, basically one of those things where back in the day when you used to rent NES games and stuff from the video shop. I would go into the shop, I'll pay like £5 for like 4 nights, right? To me, that was cheaper because I was able to complete the game. It was cheaper than buying the game outright for £30, right?
Yeah.
This isn't cheaper.
No, well, I mean, it's not. Okay, so you get Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix for 90 days for $8. You can just buy the game outright for $10.
Yeah. Or
That doesn't make
buy
any
it outright
sense.
on some platforms for $5.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense.
Mm.
It makes
I don't
sense in one
understand.
aspect.
Okay, what aspect is that, Nick?
Well,
Think
like
about
Go ahead.
Think about what you said about somebody buying a game from GameStop, returning it, and trying to get the credit towards another game.
Yeah.
But if you think about the person going, okay, either I can rent the game for so long, try to beat it, or I can go get the game, play it for so long, return it to GameStop and get less money than I'm actually would be getting back if I sold it on Craigslist, eBay,
That's
or
the
whatever.
compensation. I guess you're going with that. Okay.
Then
Yeah,
they're
you
going
can
to
continue that.
they're basically going to go, oh, this is more affordable, but
Yeah.
they're not going to think about the long term because they're not a collector. So they don't have that mindset of, I want to keep the physical copy, because they can go back and rent the game, but they're not going to think about that price after a while because it's not going to mean anything to them.
Well, as I'm looking at the pricing list, like where I thought you were going with that was basically the pricing of the game that you're buying, like if it's a download title or whatever it looks like, or stream title, whatever, the pricing is kind of equivocal to the amount of money that you would get back from GameStop for the game that you bought and returned 2 weeks later. So in that aspect, I could understand where the pricing is coming from. However, when I see Mega Man 10 for $15 streaming for 90 days, and Mega Man 10 was $15 on my PS3 and I had it forever, that's pretty shitty.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that some consumers don't look at prices. They don't think about how much it is. This goes back to working in retail. You actually see that. People won't question prices if it's not something they think about. If they have the money for it, they're just going to go like whatever. Or, if they have a kid they want to shut up and the kid wants to play the game. No offense towards anyone who has children, but it's the truth. People will pay something to get that kid to be quiet, and they're not going to think about the cost. And I think that's a really large part of it. There is actually something else that plays into this, in my opinion. There was actually a game developer, I'm trying to find the article, who was actually griping that people were paying Redbox $1 to play his game when they could be buying it. So if the developers have a say in this, saying, we want the game to be rented for this long for this amount of money, and they get a cut of it, that's going to go back to that as well.
Yeah, but again, this is where the whole pre-owned thing comes in. I could go to GameStop and purchase the same game that's available for 90 days for $30 and still get it for that price.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. It's just, talking about this is making me angry.
Yeah. Hey guys, just so you know, you can phone in and you can talk about it on 718-664-9265. That's 718-664-9265.
I'm sorry. I just saw Resident Evil 5 Gold, 90 days, $22.99. Fuck you! I bought that game for $10. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, this is horrible. Oh, this is the worst. All right. I'm appalled. I'm very appalled right now. Ugh.
Yeah, as I said,
I'm actually crying.
Yeah, you should. Because this is ridiculous. And it's going on from that to Cap.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi guys, I am so sorry about this. We are trying our best to resolve technical freaking difficulties. But yeah, it's just Blog Talk Radio has been messing up with us. We do apologise. We are back now. We are back to normal. Everyone's gravy. And speaking of back to normal, also the most sexiest man in the world, here we've got Zach Latour.
What's up? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, and also we've got someone on 918 area code. Caller, you're on I Got Gameplay.
I've been listening to your show all night. I gotta say, you guys are crap my...
Okay. Anyway, sorry, I just listening to this dude, and he's just been disconnected because he sounds like a fucking retard. And let's go back to the show. So we were talking about Sony's PlayStation Now situation. What do you think of that, Zach?
Oh, about renting the stuff on PlayStation Now or whatever?
Yeah, for the price that you would pay for a brand new first run special edition game.
Well, I mean, so or you're saying that they're charging the same price to buy it online as it is to buy it in the store?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
No, but this is the catch. They're charging the same price for a full game for 90 days.
Oh, for 90 days. Yeah, I've only been hearing horrible things about this, so I'm guessing they're going to change their business idea of this at some point. But yeah, it's just I don't know who came up with these numbers, who's doing this, because I don't like what we see from Sony versus Microsoft is a company, I guess, that I tend to trust more. So when I see stuff like this, I just makes me wonder who's behind it and who's doing this.
Okay, we've got another caller. 1 second, let's see who this is. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, guys, you hung up on me. It's Travis.
Oh, Travis. Sorry, Travis. We'll bring you in. Are you on Skype?
No, I'm actually calling you guys.
Oh, you're calling. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I just was on my way to pick up my fiance because her shift ends in 30 minutes. So I was like, I'm going to call up the guys and see how they're doing.
We're doing great, my friend. How come you haven't attended the show today? You should be here. You should be live in the studio.
Once again, guys, I actually have to drive. Here's the thing. Where I live, it actually takes me a half hour to go pick up my fiance. So he gets off at 9, so I have to drive quite a bit of distance just to go pick her up. So yeah.
Okay, no worries. Well, you can always come and join us after you're back home with the fiance, of course. So what? As you were saying, Zach, Sony PlayStation Now. What do you think?
I mean, it's just confusing to me. I just feel like, we're seeing some things from Sony that are, better than other say Microsoft, and then you see this and it's like what happened? Who is behind this? Why? What was one of the things to rent it for 5 hours? It was like $10 or something.
Yeah.
I just don't see where this is coming up from. For me, it's just kind of out of left field. But the idea is dumb. But some people just don't care. People were willing to buy the Xbox One when the discs. Or when it was when the server goes down, finally all the games are worthless, and people are still willing to buy it then. So one thing I think is a big thing is I think most people beat games within 90 days. So I feel like if people were to buy the game from there, even if it's at full price and they can't trade it or do anything with it, if they beat it in 60 to 90 days or whatever, they'll feel at least that they got something out of it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but again, it's just too expensive for 90 days, though, dude. 90 days for...
Oh, I agree. It's entirely too expensive. I mean, I could go rent... well, I guess I couldn't rent it for cheaper at a Redbox, but I could rent it and beat it, in probably a weekend, whatever they have there.
No, I agree. And what about you, Travis? What do you think of this whole PlayStation Now initiative?
I just think it's kind of silly because I've always been the type. Anybody who knows me, I'm a video game collector. Okay, so I actually, even if I beat a game, I put it on the shelf so I can play it again later on, and although I know that digital distribution and this whole thing with PlayStation Now, I know it's I don't know if it's going to be the future, but I don't like that kind of a future when it comes to games. Because at the end of the day, the customers are the ones that are getting anally raped by these companies. And I just totally disagree with it.
Yeah, it bugs me because of the implementation. It's like there is no rhyme or reason behind charging so much. None at all. And it's like someone in Sony just thought, hey, that's a good idea. Let's charge the same price for a full game that they'll probably be able to get cheaper on pre-owned for 90 days.
It's ridiculous. I don't like the business model at all.
Yeah.
And if that's the way it's going to be, I'll just stick with PlayStation 3, Wii U, and all the other stuff, because if this is the way the games are going to be distributed in the future, I'd rather not go forward.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So let's sort of segue off the Sony thing now, and let's go on to Capcom. Capcom says for UK and United States releases, for 3DS games, for basically localized games, they're only going to be digital download from now on. we'll start with you, Zach. What do you think of this?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
In terms of the situation with Capcom, they stated that they're only going to be releasing localized games now here under digital download because it costs too much to actually place them onto cart.
You know, it's funny because people were doing it, 20 years ago on hardware like a cartridge that cost way more to manufacture and make and send out than right now. Before they used cardboard, they used plastic, they used actual like ROM chips, and they screwed these together, they printed a manual, and they sent it to the store. And granted, some of the games did cost $100, but now they're using a CD or a DVD or a Blu-ray, which is cheap as hell. They're using a case that is like one of those environmentally friendly ones, which has like all kinds of holes in it so that it's lighter. There's no manual, and the cover art is like thin as hell. So I don't see how much that could really be costing them. When they're doing that. So the fact that they're doing digital only, unfortunately, a lot of people are buying into that. They don't have to leave. They don't have to go to the store, wait in lines. They can do everything right from their house. They can get it earlier because a lot of times, if there's not a midnight release for the game, you have to wait till 10:30 or whatever, so the store opens up the next day. But if you get it digitally, you can get it right at midnight, like as soon as it comes out. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to it, but it should never be that they can't afford or they don't want to pay for that, because looking at where video games have come from and where they are now, this is the cheapest ever of putting their entertainment on a medium. This is the absolute cheapest.
Yeah, digital isn't cheaper.
So it's cheaper than what? Than cartridges? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
cheaper than everything.
So Chris, what's your opinion on this? Do you think Capcom are in the right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with trying to maintain. I mean, especially since like a whole bunch of companies are just losing money. Like I was just reading something about how Sega just lost a shit ton of money this past fiscal year, and like, I mean, it basically just comes down to money and cost, and CDs do cost more than just distributing digitally. I mean, like, but on the other hand, I do love having like my own fucking CD and the booklet and everything that comes with it, but. I mean, the same thing with the CDs and like audio CDs. Like it's going away. My new MacBook Pro doesn't even have a CD drive in it. I mean, it's going the way of the dinosaur, and it sucks. But I mean, that's just the reality of the situation.
That's the thing as well. In terms of the situation itself, it turns into something where it's not a bad thing, it's not a big deal in their eyes, but to gamers like myself and Zach here, and of course everybody else in this room, I like my physical copies. Couldn't they just do something on Capcom Unity where they'll say, okay, we're going to do this copy digital download, but if you want to get a special edition copy that, we won't print out, we won't do anything with it, we'll get these custom made for you, all you've got to do is select this and we'll charge you this.
That's ridiculous to ask a company that big to do something like that.
Why not? They earn an extra bit of money from it. They don't have to basically develop the units and hope that they get bought out. They'll just develop it special for those who need it.
But realistically, a bunch of people are going to think that they need it once they have that option, and they're going to have to shell out the money that they didn't want to shell out before for.
No, because the cost will be moved over to the person purchasing it rather than to the company itself.
That's fair. But then that person has to. Go ahead.
Travis?
I was just going to say, that's an interesting idea, where it's like, if people want to actually have a physical copy, and I like ideas like companies like Capcom, for instance, and get games, basically if you want a physical copy, it's made to order type of thing. I like that.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Capcom's not that kind of company, dude. They hate their customers. We all know that.
Well, I'm just saying as an example. I mean, Amazon does that too.
Yeah, but it's a good business measure that they can do it.
Yeah.
If they're gonna fuck your customers, do it right. Say, okay, we'll do it.
At least take them out to dinner first.
Exactly. It's one of those things you can sit there and say, well, we'll do this, but this is how we're going to... If you want this, you've got to pay for that privilege because we can't afford to do it. But if you purchase it beforehand, sort of as a pre-order, and say, I want a physical copy from Capcom Unity, this is how much it's going to cost, this is the extra it's going to cost on top of the price of the game. Yeah, that way, if the person wants it, they'll purchase it. And Capcom makes money on it. They'll make the full price on the game. They're not shelling out X amount of money on copies that aren't going to sell, and people are going to get a copy of this game physically that they can have in their collection. Zach, do you think that's a good idea, or do you think that's just basically me wishful thinking?
I just don't understand how someone can say, we're not able to do this anymore, yet all these other companies are, and for the past 30 years or 40 years, all these other companies have done it. Yeah, it's like I'm saying, I think Chris thinks I was talking about digital last time. I wasn't talking about digital. I was talking about CD or DVD or Blu-ray versus cartridge, and how DVD and Blu-ray and everything is so much cheaper to produce than an actual cartridge. Now that
I know, but I was saying that digital is cheaper than that from the company standpoint. I'm playing Devil.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely it is. You know? But I'm saying, like, so for these people doing both. So if I were to say, I don't know, the new big whatever AAA title game comes out, you know, the same day I can go to the store and buy it in a physical copy, or I can download it and pay for it on you know, whatever online thing that they have. But I just don't understand how everybody has been able to do it, and now this is the cheapest. Like, no manuals, like I said, they have these eco-friendly cases that are cheap as hell. You know, all this other stuff. But now they can't afford this. It just
they're losing money, man. The gaming industry is losing money, and they're trying to find ways to cut costs. That's what's happening.
I just don't understand how everyone else has been able to do it forever, and now Capcom just says, we can't afford it. We can't do it anymore.
They're leading the charge, man.
There has to be some other, you know, business things that have led to this. Now we can't afford it because we've done all this dumb shit before. I don't know. Because you know,
they're just leading a charge, man. I bet the other companies are going to fall in line like fucking by the end of like 5 years from now. Give it 5 years. Sega's going to be doing it. Ubisoft's going to be doing it.
Well, everyone would have loved to be doing it 15 years ago.
Of course. But they didn't need to.
And I understand that.
It wasn't time for it.
Well, let me ask you guys a big question here then. How can the gaming industry be losing so much money when you have games like GTA 5 making billions? You have the Call of Duty series that makes billions. You've got all these bro games and newer games that are making billions.
Those are the only games people are buying.
Yeah, but how are they losing money? Why are they losing money? Why are they losing money? Because
nobody's buying games from Sega or Capcom or Ubisoft or any of those companies anymore.
Yeah, but
they're buying fucking Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, and that's
why would anybody want to even buy anything from Capcom? They've released 4 versions of Street Fighter 4 within the past couple years, and it's just like, why the hell is anyone going to buy the new one when you're pretty sure there's just another one coming out around the corner?
Because they've run out of ideas, and they're losing money based off of the fact that they're making poor decisions, which is exactly what you said before, and that's why they're going digital.
Then
right. I understand they're going digital.
It's their poor decision making. That's the thing.
Absolutely, I completely.
But they're not saying like we're going to go digital to save money, or we're going to go digital for this. They're saying they literally cannot afford it.
Yeah, they're saying it's not financially
viable. They can't
viable.
afford it because nobody's buying Ultra fucking Street Fighter 4 because everybody's been playing it since fucking 2006.
Right. Yeah. So,
you know, like that's why. Because they suck.
Well, the funny thing is,
straight up, like that's it. That's
to make it cheaper. This is the funny thing about it. To make it cheaper, they gave away free copies of Street Fighter Arcade on Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus, just so that you could just buy the add-on expansion. Say, oh look, I've got the game for free. Now I can pay $15 for this extra expansion, and it won't hurt so much.
Did anybody pay for the expansion?
Nope.
Did it work?
No, I just played my free copy of Street Fighter Arcade Edition. It was like, fuck that noise.
See, that's why they're going digital, because you're being a fucker and getting something for free and not paying for nothing.
That's the thing. It's the way I see it is, as Zach said, I played this game so many fucking times. I don't really want to download it for Cammy and a face mask.
I mean, I totally agree. I've been but then again, we're talking about Street Fighter, and I'll play Street Fighter till the end of time. So.
But the one thing that bugs me, and I'll say this, right? What bugs me a lot is when you're not releasing one of my favorite games, which is Phoenix Wright, on cartridge. That if I want it on cartridge, I've got to import a Japanese version that's got basically won't run on my device.
I mean, what's the numbers on the fucking people that want Phoenix Wright on cartridge in America or in London even?
I don't know, but from everyone I've talked to, I've even been to Hyper Japan and spoke with the Nintendo guys there, and they said the same thing to me. We want it on cartridge. Capcom just won't do it. It's not financially feasible.
It's not financially feasible for them to release fucking Phoenix Wright
on cartridge. Digital,
That's
yes.
horseshit.
Wasn't that one of their best-selling games?
They won't sell it on. They won't put it on cartridge in Europe and United States because they've said it's not financially feasible.
Well, I mean, like,
Horseshit.
didn't they make a PSP version and it didn't sell?
They made mobile. You know the financial loss that Capcom keeps talking about. It's mobile gaming. They thought that was going to be the new thing, so they dedicated a lot of their money, time, and allotment of team people to mobile gaming. And then when that fucked over, they went, yeah, we've kind of fucked ourselves here, so we're going to offset the cost to everybody else. And I know people like to keep their games, but we can't do it.
Yeah, well, that's just another way of Capcom saying "fuck you," and that's the thing is they've been giving us the finger for a long time, and that's pretty much why they're losing money because they're assholes. I mean, you don't want to fuck with somebody who's gonna just bend you over and fuck you every 5 seconds. I mean, unless you do, in which case, more power to you. And in that analogy, I actually do take Capcom's dick very frequently. So,
yeah, I got a couple things. So first of all,
I did.
Okay, well, after losses and layoffs, because we're going to be segueing from this to another bit of disaster. Sony are in the
before we continue,
okay, go on, Travis.
Before we continue, guys, I'm going to go ahead and split for now. But I will if I can get on later on tonight, I will. If not, please check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RoseColored Play. New videos are coming this week, guys, and starting with Another World that's going to be coming out here this week, and also going to get Courtney involved with some classic games. And yeah, and also check me out Thursday nights with the Beyond Radio show, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And just check all that cool stuff out. But anyways, guys, I'm going to get going. You guys have a lovely show. If I don't hear from you later on, you guys have yourselves a good night.
Peace, buddy.
All right, later.
So let's continue on then with Sony. Basically, another disaster in the news. They've decided we're moving to Santa Monica with one of their studios. They've had a hectic first half of the year after a heavy round of layoffs. That left the studio with cancelled games, about 150 developers, and a move to a new studio. And even a new logo for the House of God of War is now ready to strengthen his team again. Yay! Do we know what studio I'm talking about?
No.
Wait. Santa Monica?
Santa
Monica? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on! I haven't even played video games in like 6 months.
So basically, they're ready to strengthen themselves now. We're going to get more games coming. So SSM, we started hiring the senior game developer programmer as well, just a month ago. And they're fitting nicely to indicate a new era of Sony's prominent first-party developer as well. Now they have an announcement for an entity teased upcoming PS4 game. Hopefully it may even be a new God of War game. But they said that they'll basically make an announcement at Gamescom. So what do you guys think? Is that good news for Sony?
What, a new God of War game?
Well, for Sony Santa Monica actually being able to, develop games again.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's great.
I just feel like, I talk about Street Fighter, 4 being hoard out, and I feel like it was just even worse with God of War. It's like they told this really good story, and then it's like, make all this other garbage or whatever and just whore them out. So, I mean, I don't know. Kratos, I don't know what they can do besides, I don't know what they're going to do.
I mean, I think that, like, I don't really have a problem with that specifically because I feel like a lot of the games that are selling. I mean, I've been watching a lot of things about like gamers in general don't want innovation in their games because the numbers tell people that everybody's just buying the big titles. It's just too much of a risk for them to come out with something new. That's the only reason they do that. Yeah, I mean, it sells, So if Sony Santa Monica is going to come back and make some fucking God of War games and make money for Sony, then yay, I guess. I mean, if Sony's going to keep fucking everybody over, and the video game industry in general is just going to keep fucking everybody over, like, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know if any of this is good news.
Well, what do you think about
Think about what?
Nick?
Sorry. I thought you said Zach. I have to disagree with your comment about not wanting innovation in gaming. I think that there is a lot of desire in certain markets for innovation, but certain companies don't want to move past what they see as a franchise that'll earn them money, and I think that's what's hurting a lot of these companies. In terms of, turning into new game for a series, yeah, it's great, but I want something new and fresh rather than a new God of War, something at least decent.
And there was actually, someone was talking about this quite recently. Sandra showed me a video of a guy talking about how the amount of God of War games, Uncharted games, Halo games, Call of Duty games that are released, and people sit there and they shit on Mario and Zelda. These games get released a lot more than your average Mario and Zelda game.
Yeah, but like my problem with like just God of War, I guess. I mean, not everything is that these other series, there's no end. They already ended God of War. Like there's an end. There's a conclusion, and now they're just like whatever, filling all these holes with whatever we can get money for. So these other games didn't end. They just keep going with the series.
Kind of like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, look at every Final Fantasy besides the recently when we've been getting sequels, and they've all been completely independent games of each other, just carrying the same title.
Well, in other positive news, going on from that, we have the Wii U and 3DS have outsold the Xbox One and 360. And we're also getting a new Call of Duty game for Wii U and also Hyrule Warriors. So basically, just as stated, that we can review, that the Wii U and the 3DS are outselling the Xbox 360 and Xbox One in terms of net sales. And a lot of this is due to Nintendo's awesome efforts at E3 2014, in my opinion, plus new games that are coming on, such as Hyrule Warriors, and also the Bayonetta game. so come on, Mr. Boo Earns, why are you booing?
Hyrule Warriors, man. So it's Dynasty Warriors with Zelda, right? That's what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, why are we marrying these series? Why don't they just make a fucking new Zelda game?
Nintendo went to Namco Bandai and said, we need you to use some of our properties in a new game, and Namco Bandai goes, fuck it, let's do a Dynasty Warriors game.
I mean, okay, there's a bunch of problems with that. Now, the first one is, why wouldn't you just make a new Dynasty Warriors / Zelda game? The second is exactly what we were talking about before. They just keep fucking making the same games over and over and over. Like, what the fuck? Why not, like, some sort of, like, new Zelda with, like, a new coat of paint on it or something? Or, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe something fucking new. Find a independent developer and just be like, hey, let me just buy your game and fucking make it better.
Say this, I have seen it at Hyper Japan, and I was impressed. Just saying.
But it's just Zelda with a new style. That's all it is. With Dynasty Warriors and Zelda. So we've played both games a million times. I mean, so play them at once? Like, I don't... God damn it.
What about you, Nick Enderley? What do you think?
What was that phrase from Hellraiser and Jesus Wept? I don't know. Dynasty Warriors is not a good game, in my opinion, and I agree.
I agree so hard.
It's one of the things, when he's talking about all the games that they're filling plot holes in, it goes back to, I think it's like they say in Japan, the market is so stale and overridden with games that just have all these series, and they think, oh, well, if we like it, maybe Western gamers will. I think there's a misunderstanding between, Western gamers in one part of the world want and others don't. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's just give me like something like Shovel Knight, something that actually has a new, fresh idea. That's all I want to say.
Okay, what about you, Zach? What do you think of this?
Well, I like, when we had talked about J.K. Rowling, about maybe her, letting other people write her books if she doesn't want to necessarily do it right now. I feel like letting other people do this series, is a good idea, and it is a fresh take. The problem is there's already so many Dynasty Warrior games that it almost just, not even out yet, and it kind of seems stale. I don't know what the storyline is supposed to be, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just like I like Zelda for different reasons, and I don't think any of the things I ever liked about Zelda was. I never actually thought like, oh, I wish this was like a hack and slash game, but something is coming out, and it's going to be different, and even if it's the same thing as Dynasty Warriors with a Link skin over it, it's at least going to be different to the universe of Zelda. So, I'll try it out. I mean, at least it's something new coming out for the Wii U instead of nothing.
Yeah. Plus, we got the Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. And then and I have to admit, Nintendo, they do give us a bang for our buck, like what they did with the Mario Kart 8 and free game deal that they had. They're giving us a bang for our buck with the fact that we're getting Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, but Bayonetta, in my opinion, it's so weird that they decided to pick that up. I feel like that's something that would have been left to PlayStation and Xbox, like how it originally came out.
Yeah, but the reason being, and Platinum Games have stated this, without Nintendo, there would have never been a Bayonetta 2.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because it never sold as much as they hoped, and Sega were the ones who published this, the game itself, and Nintendo said, look, we'll distribute the game for you, make it first party to our platform, and, we'll give you money to sort of fund the project, and that's what they did, and it worked, and Platinum Games have done, I believe, 2 new games for Nintendo, including that one. So, for me, it's a good thing. I know a lot of people like Angry Joe sitting there going, I don't want a Wii U! I want to play this on other platforms. Nintendo funded it. What are you going to do? If it wasn't for Nintendo, there'd been no Bayonetta 2. Would you rather they not have a Bayonetta 2? Then just don't buy a Wii U, because, there's no platform for it. There you go. But for me, though, as well, there's a huge load of games coming for the Wii U, and it shows promise. The same for the 3DS. The 3DS has got a load of games coming up, and it shows promise. And Nintendo are kind of doing right by their fans. I still would have appreciated if they cut, trying to take a slice of people's YouTube channels would help, and not get into fights with YouTube users. But they are trying to, do right by their fans. So, what do you think, Zach? Do you think this is a good thing on their part, that the Wii U is now becoming a prominent console? Because a lot of people said this thing was going to die.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're lucky, and I think that they haven't taken the proper steps to do, the correct thing. And luckily, the games are good enough to where they're pushing the console, and they have enough hype. Mario Kart 8, I know, sold a ton of copies and sold a ton of systems. So, I mean, I still think that they're going about things the incorrect way, and there's too little games on the Wii U, but the games that they have are quality and they are fun, and they're definitely attracting an audience. So, they're doing something right.
And it's a great kids console, and I'll hold my hand up to say this. I've got little Sprogs. They love the console. It's what they play. They want some new games though, so I've got to start fishing around.
Yeah, but I bet if you instead of giving your kids a Wii U, if you gave your kids a Wii, I bet you'd be saying the same thing. I mean, I think that kids, they're going to love any system. Like when I finally have a kid, I'm going to give my kid like a Nintendo like nothing else has ever existed. And I guarantee you he's going to love that, just as much as everybody else has. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily the system. It's just they're good quality games.
Yeah, that as well. Like I cracked out my Nintendo Entertainment System and then realized the kids were trying to break it because it didn't have a wireless controller. So pulling on the controller and the thing nearly fell to the floor. So I was like, that goes back in the shelf.
Right, yeah.
Here's the Wii U. It's wireless compatibility. Play it. But yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's one of those things that I think, as you said, Nintendo produce good quality games, which is something that I think some of these companies like Sony, like Microsoft, don't consider. They're all like, we'll just put out anything and people will draw themselves to it.
Well, to be fair, look at all the shovelware on the Wii. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it bugs me to the extent because it's one of those situations where Nintendo managed to put some good stuff out themselves, but when it's working with third-party studios, they tend to just throw stuff out there and go, well, that's going to do it.
Yeah. Well, I know that it's almost been like the whole Black Eye idea of, because they let those Zelda games come out, back in the 90s for the 3DO or whatever that was for, or the CDI or whatever that came out for. But, it's just, you have to understand, they have to understand that there are people. It's like you look at Star Wars as an expanded universe, and there's people who write the books who had nothing to do with Star Wars, but they love everything enough, and they're good enough writers to where they can do it justice, and they're able to give a whole backstory to everything. George Lucas could not go and write every book and possible and create the universe himself. It's impossible. So people have to understand that they have to look around for quality people who can make good things, and then they have to I guess if they're willing to and they want to expand the series and themselves, they need to know who they can trust and who they can back so that they can expand themselves.
No, I agree, and that's the thing. When you look at stuff like this, you think to yourself, what am I doing? How am I supposed to do this? How is this going to affect our audience? And in terms of that, they don't tend to do what they're supposed to do. So tell me, what do you think Nintendo needs to do to get their fans back in droves, rather than, because at the moment they're bringing people back but slowly. What do you think they can do to bring their fans back and cement themselves as the number one company again?
I honestly have no idea. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell them. I think that what they're doing is it's slowly turning around and working in their favor, but I mean, I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe somebody else here is smarter in a business-wise sense than I am.
And speaking of business, because we got to talk about business when it comes to Nintendo, there's been a rumor among management, there's shared recognition that Iwata is a culprit that is in the company and has a strong desire to make popular games such as Super Mario, etc. for smartphones. But Iwata is vetoing the idea at the moment, and completely stating that Nintendo needs to have a unified gaming development team of hardware and software, and stubbornly rejects anything to involve the internet, and also fixates over game consoles, possibly because of his pride as a former developer. With the death last fall of a long-reigning company founder Hiroshi Yamauchi, there is nobody left who can defy Iwata. There are frequent rumors that part of the management is scheming to get rid of Iwata. Nick, what's your opinion on this? Do you think Iwata's had his day and they're every right to sort of get rid of the guy?
I'm not sure how I feel on this one, to be honest. If you're in a business and you have somebody that works for you and they're earning you money, keep them. If they're making you the money to keep you afloat, they're worth it. But if the person's crap and they can't do anything for the company, they get rid of them.
Well, he was the guy that, signified the company's financial success with the Wii, and also the Nintendo DS and the 3DS. He is the guy that he's had more good than bad.
Wasn't he the one that took a pay cut because when the 3DS came out, it wasn't doing as good as they thought it was, so he and his top group actually took a pay cut?
Yeah, and also the Wii U as well. But both consoles have managed to defy expectations now and start making money.
If you have a guy that's willing to take a cut and help your company out, he's a keeper. I'm sorry, but you don't see in American business, you don't see anybody doing that. I think they have the right idea. They would have the right idea keeping him, and getting rid of him would be a bad idea if he's going to bring in money.
So what do you think, Zach?
Well, it's true, but I think a lot of people who have worked for Nintendo, especially, I can't remember the guy's name, the one who made Game & Watch and made Virtual Boy, but, it's like, just because something is failing, I feel like, they still put a lot into it. The Wii, for some reason, which it still blows my mind, I don't know exactly why, but that console sold insane amount of copies of itself. It's like record-breaking how much that sold. So, the person who made the Wii for Nintendo they better be up there with, like, I'm not saying like as creative, but how much money they made for Nintendo. They better be up there with like Miyamoto, worthy to keep, because you can't have all 100% amazing, brilliant ideas. There is going to be failures. You look at the Virtual Boy versus the Game & Watch, because I think the same guy made them. One was a great idea, one necessarily wasn't. So, this guy, and it's a good point, Chris had a good point. Once you stop making the company money, it's time to go. But he did take a pay cut, and he didn't really have to, but because he's done things for the company. I could understand if that was the first thing he ever did in it, and it kind of failed, that he would do that. But I think these people genuinely love what they're doing, and they love the company, and they're trying to make these amazing things, and sometimes they just don't catch on. And it's not just because they're not good. There's a million brilliant ideas that came out that never caught on because something else came out that took people's attention away from it.
So, in terms of Iwata, do you think he deserves to be in the position that he's in?
What was the position?
Well, the head of the company.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's I don't know, but I just feel like you gotta keep the people who are making you money, but you also have to keep the people who are 100% interested in making you money. So, it's if someone comes out and everything they do is a failure, it's like, you got to go. But, if someone's coming out and they're hitting, really high and then striking out and then hitting really high, they're not necessarily a person you want to let go. So, I don't know.
So, what do you think about this, Chris? Chris? Yeah, we're missing Chris for a second.
Wait, sorry. I was muted. My bad.
Yeah, go on, mate. What do you think of this?
I honestly, I don't have too much anger or anything about this. I think that, if it's time for him to go, it's time for him to go. There's got to be some sort of reason why it's just not working out, and that's just what happens. Sometimes it's beyond business and something that we probably won't even know about.
Well, I totally agree with you on that one. But I think scheming to get rid of the guy is kind of a bit too much in a sense, and I think Nintendo need to kind of learn a very valuable lesson and stuff like this. They just need to stop fighting with it from within and hopefully start embracing, the fans and the internet, and I think, which is the best thing. So we'll move on from that one now and talk about the fact that the PS4 is apparently crushing the Xbox One in Germany, according to official...
Deutschland!
You're a German-specific fellow, Mr. Chris Lotz. You're learning German.
Ich kann Deutsch sprechen, ja.
Yeah, so tell us, what do you think of this?
That's awesome. You said PS4 is winning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I fuck Microsoft, dude. So, and if Germany's supporting them, then that's cool too. Whatever.
Well, that's something we need to have a look at as well, because the Xbox One sales are declining. Do you think it's because Microsoft have taken out an inferior product?
Put out an inferior product to the PS4?
Well, to both PS4 and Wii U, because people are starting to get wise now. Well, I've seen friends of mine basically just give in the console because they've had enough.
Absolutely. I feel like they just kind of, they just did what they did in 2005 and just put something out that was not as good as the competition. It's really as simple as that. To be fair, I am kind of a Sony fanboy, so I'm a little biased, but I do still think that PS4 has more games that I would play on it than the Xbox One at this point.
Zach, what do you think about this? Do you think Microsoft are basically putting out an inferior product with the Xbox One? They have no idea what they're doing with it, or do you think it's just the way it is?
Well, I'll say at this point in time, I think they have more idea of what they're doing with it than when it came out. I feel like the guy that they have in now, who made a connectless bundle, they have more of an idea of where to go and what people want, and they're offering that, which is a big thing. I will say one of the issues is when the Xbox One came out. So you have things that are going to advance with time. So when you have an Xbox and PS2 coming out, the Xbox was like, we can connect to the internet and you can play people online and you can do whatever online. Then the then PS2 makes some modem thing that you can plug in, so now they can do this thing. Then you have PS3 versus Xbox 360. They can both connect online, and they can both have their own stores, and they have all this stuff. Now you have Xbox One and you have PS4. I feel like Xbox One was trying to take it more of, this isn't even a game system anymore. It's an entertainment box, and you can do anything you want with it. And by the way, yeah, we still make games for it. So, yes, in many ways, I feel like the Xbox. First of all, I don't support Microsoft in their Xbox thing in any way, and I've said that since before the console even came out. But is it a less superior product? I believe. I mean, even from something as small and non-meaningful as its looks, I think it sucks compared to the PS4. And I think as far as the power of it, the way the games run. The exclusives on it, I think it still sucks compared to PS4. I think PS4 is better in every single way, and I will say, like I said, Xbox is turning their stuff around. They're doing more of the things that people do want, but it's not better. And just like Chris, I mean, I won't lie, I'm a Sony fanboy too. But I was playing Xbox 360, and Xbox at the time was my console of choice. But since then, I've strayed so far away that I don't even, I'd never even want to go back. I don't even care.
So what about you, Nick? What do you think of Microsoft getting a defeat from Sony, and also Nintendo, if we think about it as well, from the sales declining? Do you think they have no clue what they're doing, or do you think they are getting there eventually?
In terms of gaming with Microsoft, I could really care less about them. The only two systems that I use, are my PSP in terms of for Sony, and my 2DS or my DS is with Nintendo, because honestly, I prefer handheld gaming more than console at times. And if Microsoft actually said, we're coming out with a handheld system, I might pay attention to them, but I love the Wii. I've played on one a lot. And I'm just going to say, sorry, Microsoft, but you don't have any of my business.
Yeah, so moving on from that, let's find out another little bit of news. Destiny has been rolled out in beta form to everyone. Yes, everyone. So everybody and their mum can actually now play Destiny on whatever console of their choice, apart from the Wii U, of course, because they haven't made it for that console, which I'm very angry about. But it can actually be rolled out to every single platform, including Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, PS3, and also the ColecoVision. Well, I was joking about the ColecoVision, but still. So what do you think, Zach? Do you think it's a good thing? You're going to be playing the new Destiny beta?
I wasn't playing it. I know Kyla was playing it. I mean, I don't have a PS4, so I'm not going to be heavily involved in any of this stuff. But I remember Kyla was playing it, and I remember I want to say. Well, it's hard to say because all my buddies, when a new beta for something comes out, like when League of Legends was in beta, they were all playing it. I don't know if that was invite only, or a friend could offer you a code, or what, if it was just open to everybody. But I mean, I personally don't see why any of this stuff isn't just open to everybody. Once the game comes out, everything gets reversed back to blank anyway. So I thought it was really cool. All you had to have was a paid subscription, either PS Online or whatever it's called, or Xbox Live, and you got to play. And yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I don't know if there were people who are like, oh, I can't wait to get the beta for this, but I mean, I don't know. It's cool, and I'm happy that everybody who wanted to, because is the beta over, or is it still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay.
I know Robman's completed the PS4 beta at the moment. He got to a certain level, and then it ended, and he was like, no!
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool, especially for a game. There's a lot of things that I feel are things you can do that your fans will love, and one of the things is letting them experience this. If they can't go to conventions, if they can't do whatever, letting them be able to experience it and get them even more hyped up. It's like the foreplay before the game comes out.
So, but that's the thing. It was only available from basically. If you ordered the beta, if you pre-ordered the game.
No, they opened it to everybody. I thought.
No, that I was saying. It was only open for those who pre-ordered the beta, who pre-ordered the game itself. You'd get the chance to play the beta, but now they've rolled it out to everyone.
Yeah.
which is awesome. They didn't have to do this, but Bungie was like, you know what, do it.
That's the thing. You're right, that they didn't have to do it. And that's when you're looking at games at this point, in the game industry at this point, you have to see people who are willing to go above and beyond what they are obligated to do to make people happy. This didn't involve any loss of money to them. It didn't involve any product they had to push out. This wasn't like they had to make demo discs and send them out to people. It was, here it is, here's the code, go play it. If you like it enough, we're not giving you the whole game. You can buy it. Everything gets reset. You can start again. So this is something that they did for their fans that cost them nothing, and it made people happy.
No, I agree, and it has done. I've been playing it because Robman gave me a beta code, and I've been playing it on my PlayStation 3, and I've been enjoying it. I need to get back to actually playing it. God, I've just been too busy. But it's a great, great game. Nick, what do you think? Are you going to get yourself a downloadable copy of this beta and give it a go?
Is this game an MMO?
No.
Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. You talked about paid subscription, all this other stuff. I'm like, crap, is this an MMO? If a game has a paid subscription to it, I try not to get it. I just feel that you should be able to pay for the game and have that be that.
Well, I agree with you on that one. The game itself, what he was talking about is what Zach was saying, is if you've got a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, or an Xbox 360 you have to basically have a paid Xbox Live Gold account or a PSN Plus account in order to play multiplayer on this game. Whereas now, at the moment, if you want to play the single player, you just play it single player. You don't have to worry about it. But to play online with friends, you need basically those tools. And also,
but to even get the beta though, you have to have the subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's been rolled out, everybody can play it. It's a good thing, and it's, as I said, it's really sexy. It looks really nice. Anybody who wants to have a go at the game or wants to play it, go for it. It's available now. What do you think, Chris?
I really don't care about Destiny. I think that's cool. I guess that they're gonna do that, but it doesn't really resonate with me at all. It's like I kind of feel like why would anybody want to waste their time playing that? But that's just me. I don't like that. I don't like the game. I tried it.
And in other gaming news, games that probably Chris doesn't like, Flappy Bird returned.
Wait, what returned?
Flappy Bird, the game that was based.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, it's returned as Flappy Bird's Family, a Flappy Bird multiplayer game that you can play on the Amazon Fire TV, and the creator, Dong Nguyen's successor to the most popular mobile title, he says, Flappy Bird now on Amazon Fire TV's incredible new feature, person versus person mode. More obstacles, more fun, still hard, reads the application's product description as well, and enjoys playing the game at home for not breaking your TV with your family and friends. What do you guys think of this? We'll start with you, Zach. Do you even care that Flappy Bird is back?
I was at my buddy's wedding like last month, and I played Flappy Bird before that, and I thought it was the most pointless thing that I had been playing. It's like press space bar to win, which is literally what the game is. And when I went out there, my buddy's brother was saying that how good he was at the game and how he plays it all the time and how he just loves the game, and he was like showing me his high scores and stuff. So like I was saying with people willing to buy stuff, they'll buy it. If you put something out, you can probably guarantee somebody's going to like it somewhere, even if it sucks. Sure, put it out, make more money, whatever. I mean, the guy who made it spent time on it, so even if it sucks, I mean, there's a lot of TV shows that have sucked throughout the years and movies that have sucked throughout the years, and they still took everybody's money, so whatever.
Well, that's so true. What about you? What about you, Chris?
I'm gonna make this my last topic because I do have to head out. But I will say I completely agree. Flappy Bird fucking sucks, and if he's gonna, I mean, I guess if he spent his time on it, sure, that's awesome, whatever. But fuck everybody who plays Flappy Bird. I'm just That is why no cool games are coming out anymore, because people are just satisfied with playing fucking Spacebar to Win games, dude. Bullshit.
Nick, what's your final thoughts on this topic?
I would rather have explosive diarrhea than play Flappy Bird in any form.
Yes.
Explosive diarrhea? When your butt explode?
Yeah, I would rather have that than play Flappy Bird. A multiplayer version of Flappy Bird. How would that even work? Just to see these little birds flying on the screen. I'm sorry, you'd have to be either drunk or stoned to get that concept. I don't know why I think that way, but yeah.
No. I mean, I'm drunk and I'm stoned right now, and I don't like that fucking idea. So, I think that's
congratulations.
The idea still sucks.
In other news, just so you know,
all right, I'm gonna head out.
So, Chris, do you want to plug anything that you're doing at the moment?
I guess so. So I'm going to be, we're relaunching Music City Radio. You can stream that on musiccityradio.org, where you can, if you're in San Francisco, we'll be able to find all of the bands, the local bands that kick ass, and it'll be a roadmap to finding their shows locally. So musiccityradio.org, and other than that, fucking Final Spectrum, we're coming out with a new record called Color by Numbers in the next week or two. So look out for that. And there's also going to be a web series about the production of that record, which we did in 10 hours. So that was pretty, that was pretty cool.
Wow.
So yeah, so Vinyl Spectrum, Music City Radio, check us out, San Francisco, motherfucker.
See you later, Chris, and have a nice one, mate.
Later.
So as we move on, guys, we have the NVIDIA has now unveiled the one thing that we've basically been waiting for, well, most people have been waiting for since 2013, the NVIDIA Extreme Tablet, I believe it's called. It's the NVIDIA Shield tablet and controller for gamers. What do you guys think of this? When they unveiled it the first time, it looked kind of sexy. You know, you can play games like Titanfall on this bloody... it's basically Android... capable times a little system here, and it has an 80-inch 20.3 centimeter Android PowerShield tablet. You can also stream games from a PC. It's the firm's second handheld device, but the first to be sold in the United States. And the machines were first revealed by the BBC earlier in the month, and it said that the price is well pitched high. Question its appeal. One major weakness of the Shield ecosystem is the lack of desirable games exclusive, said Piers Harding Rolls, head of the games and IIH Global Consistency. Android games playable on the TV or ports of old PC games are not enough to sell the device to a dedicated gamer. Now it's priced at the moment at basically nearly $300. What you got? It's got 16 gig storage. You could get it for basically $400 for 32 gig storage with a 4 gig chip. Zach, do you think NVIDIA's kind of shot their nose off here to spite their face?
How much is an iPad running these days?
Probably less than $200. If you want to get going.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool that they're aiming towards gamers, but I just feel like, I don't know. Does anyone really want this? I feel like if someone's such a big gamer who's playing this these computer games or whatever they're playing on here, or Xbox games, they're probably just going to play it on the console. I remember I watched the video with this guy showing how the controller connects and all that kind of stuff, and I mean that's cool and everything. I just feel like if someone's a big enough gamer, they're going to have a dedicated console. They're not going to want to play on a tablet.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. What about you, Nick? Do you think the system will be something that could play the big boys?
Take my money, please.
Are you serious? You'd play on this?
If I had the money, yes. And here's why I say this. And Zach, this is my reason for doing this. I love PC gaming, but there are times when I can't be at my PC to game, and I want to play a game. And so for me, something like this would be very helpful for when I'm in for the long haul and I can't be at my computer. So yeah, it would be something worthwhile for someone like myself.
Yeah, good point. I agree.
But the fact that it hasn't got any first-party titles and you're just using rehash of PC games, Does that matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me right away because of the fact that I want something where I can play games instead of just like on like my Nook tablet, because you don't get a lot of great games on there, the Google Play Store. I want something that I can get some good games in. I'm not meaning high quality, but something worthwhile, and I think that would be worth it.
Okay. No, I agree with you on that one. In a sense, I think this is a bit too high. I think they need to drop their price down because I could get another Android system, the Ouya, for $70. So it seems to me that they need to look at the price point and think if this is going to sell or not. That's, in my opinion, that's probably the killer point on this. And as Zach has actually stated, you've got the iPad, you've got an iPhones and stuff that you could do the same job for less. You got to look at that.
But if you look at how much you said this thing costs, about $300, $400 if you want to get the expanded memory.
Yeah.
Look how much an iPad and iPhone actually cost. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I recently got an iPhone 4 and it was completely free, but I feel like it was only free because nobody's buying it anymore. Like nobody wants it. They just go get an iPhone 5. So it's like, yeah, I feel like this, like, I think maybe a used iPad is cheaper than this, but I still think iPads are still quite a bit more than $400. I think they're pretty expensive.
Well, I mean, when you talk about phones, I'm going to go like this. You either have people that are willing to go on a contract for 2 years and get that phone for free, or you have someone who may not be able to get a contract for that particular phone. They have to pay the large amount of money for that phone to get it prepaid. Something like this, if you're not using it as a phone, it is worthwhile. And I think a lot of these tablets and that could be less expensive. But when you look at Apple products, they don't have expandable memory. They don't have a lot of stuff that a lot of people would want. So if you have something where you can increase your storage, yeah, of course the PC gamer who may need it so for when they're away from their home computer would want to have it. That to them would be a benefit more than Apple. I think Apple's just one of those products where either you're a fan of it or you hate it.
I agree. And like the only reason I even have an iPhone is because it was free, because I was going to stay in my plan either way.
Yeah, no, it's the same reason why I've got an iPhone 4S, because I got it basically with my plan, and now they offered me the iPhone 5. I was like, how much is that? Oh, you'd have to pay this extra a month. I was like, I'll just keep the phone I've got.
Yeah.
I'll just stay to a SIM-only plan. And they were like, okay.
It's inevitable that you're just going to drop the phone, the screen's going to crack anyway.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck it. What does the iPhone 5 do that the iPhone 4S doesn't?
It's a good question. I honestly have no clue. I mean, I'm guessing it does a ton more things, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was just like, unless it basically gives me a blowjob and a hand job at the same time.
Come on, you'd pay $1,000 for that.
I would, but it doesn't do that, so I'm like, I'll just keep my 4S, thanks. And we need to exchange numbers, because I can iMessage you then.
Yeah. Yo, if it had those capabilities, I would work that thing until the day that I died.
Yeah. The phone dies. I need a new iPhone.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Where's my iPhone? Kyler, where's my iPhone?
I need this now.
Yeah. Just use your AES. No, it's not the same.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. It's not the same. She doesn't know. No one knows.
No. Just so you guys know as well, in negative Nintendo news, because we have to touch on this topic, Nintendo has reportedly had a bigger first quarter loss than expected due to causing its share price to tumble. The Japan company posted a 9.9 billion yen deficit for April to June months compared to that of 8.6 billion profit for the same period a year earlier. They were 8% lower, despite the release of Mario Kart 8. The game in May, one of the most popular franchises on the Nintendo system. It did not alter its prediction for a return to a full-year profit. It sank a loss last financial year, and Nintendo said it expected the release of key titles in the next coming months to boost demand before circulating a critical Christmas shopping season. It includes new Super Smash Bros. Fighting game for the Wii U and 3DS consoles, as well as an action title, Hyrule Warriors, for the Living Room Machine, and 2 Pokemon Monster Collecting remakes for the handheld devices as well. Nintendo won praise for the innovative titles it showcased at the recent E3 in Los Angeles, and it unveiled a new open-world Legend of Zelda title and a paintball area shooter as well called Splatoon. Both do to be released in 2015. So let's go to you, Nick. What do you think about this? Do you think this is a bad thing for Nintendo here, that even Mario Kart 8 didn't manage to get them out of the red?
I got to run away from the keyboard. You talk to Zach, and I'll be right back, and I'll give you my opinion.
Okay, go on, Zach. What do you think of this?
I'm going to say this. Nintendo can get themselves out of the red at any point that they want to. They have all these intellectual properties that people love and people want, and it's up to them to use them, to utilize them, to take advantage of them, to sell them to people. And they're not doing that. I mean, this is something we've talked about forever. They are not releasing a ton of games. And that's what's killing them. I'm not saying be like the Wii and release so much shovelware that half of the library is shovelware, but I'm saying you need to. They can get themselves out of there. Don't depend on one game. Don't be like, oh, if Mario Kart gets us out, then we can continue being a company again. Don't depend on that. Put all kinds of stuff out. It's surprising to me how little stuff that they actually decide, to actually put out. If I put out a game console, I would make sure that I would compare it to previous generations of video game consoles. And my favorite launch, in my opinion, of a game console with its games that launched with them is Super Nintendo. I think all of the launch games of Super Nintendo were absolutely fantastic. There wasn't a bad game there. And what I would do if I had a system out, I would have all of my intellectual properties. I'd have a Zelda, I'd have a Mario, I'd have a Donkey Kong, I'd have an F-Zero, I'd have a Mario Kart. I'd have everything just waiting to launch with it, so that everybody would have 15 games, 10 games, whatever. Bam, systems out. You can be playing for 3 months before you have to go buy something new.
Of course, ladies and gents, if you want to get your opinion on this, it's 718-664-9265 at 718-664-9265. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think Nintendo are kind of screwing the pooch here. The thing is as well, they're kind of missing the boat with their Amiibo figures. They should have a Pokemon MMO. I don't understand. This thing would sell fucking systems, units. It would sell everything. And it could basically make them a ton of money if they just did a Pokemon MMO that allowed you to fuse the normal Pokemon games with this thing. So say like, if you got your 3DS, you could transfer using your little Amiibo statues, stats over from your 3DS games over to the fucking Pokemon Wii U MMO type game, plus people will be paying a subscription for it as well. Nintendo they'll be basically printing money.
Well, what would stop you from just scanning your figure and then just giving it to someone else to scan theirs? Would it have to be on all the time?
Well, the figure would have to be linked to your account.
Oh, okay.
Nintendo's really good at doing stuff like that. They've I tried a little test to see if I could link my Wii U account to someone else's system. Didn't work.
Yeah, well, they just need it blows my mind that you look at the NES. It's like, so the NES to me is it's obviously not the oldest, and it's not it's not the oldest, but they had so many amazing games on the Nintendo. And granted, there are a ton of shit games also on the Nintendo. But they had so many games that you can just be like, I like that game. That's a great game. Nintendo did a great job with this. And it's like, now I just don't understand what is stopping them. I understand there's money and people having to develop this stuff, but this should all be being done for the Wii U while the Wii was out. As soon as the Wii came out and the next Zelda game came out, the next one should have already been in development for the Wii U to be released. This is just me, I guess. I would want to have, the most amazing games I could have with my best intellectual properties just flooding out of the system, so that if anybody said, hey, what's a good console with a lot of games, the answer right there is the Wii U. Because if you look at like the hardware of the Wii U versus the Xbox One and the PS4, and you can argue this because, sales-wise, because the Wii U was obviously less powerful than the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and it destroyed those in sales. Mm. But it's that, so Xbox, okay, all big titles go to like Xbox and PlayStation. They need something else. Nintendo needs something else to be able to rise to the top and be the best and be the one that everyone still cares about and feels is relevant.
Very, very true. Nick, are you back?
I'm back. I didn't want to interrupt Zach there.
So what do you think Nintendo need to kind of bring itself back to prominence?
I think what Nintendo really needs to do is drop the whole label, and I don't know, Zach, if you said this, I missed part of what you said. I really think they need to drop this whole family-friendly label and release some actual M-rated games to draw people in. I know people are going to think that's stupid, but not everybody wants to have the kiddie game thing shoved in their face. Like, if you're a parent, yeah, of course you're going to want your kids to play age-appropriate games, and you're going to play those with them. But at times, you just want to kill something and have that be that, and see as much blood and guts as possible. I'm not saying go all full-throttle nudity and sex like Heavy Rain or something like that. Well, I don't know all they have in there, but it really is something they need to do. And co-op in a game would also help them out as well.
My buddy just gave me Heavy Rain. There's full frontal in that?
Yep.
Oh, I'm about to play that tomorrow. So anyway, I totally agree. That's a great point. It's, one thing with video games in your console is you want to try to include as many people as possible. You want everybody to be able to see some sort of value in something that you're selling. So absolutely, the Wii was seen as this kiddie system, and yeah, there were M-rated games. Look at Mad World. Look at what was that one we had to jerk off the controller? No More Heroes. So they did have some, but you're right. It's seen with like a stamp on it that's like, this is a kiddie system. And you're right. Grand Theft Auto 5 should have come out for that, just like it came out for the 360, or I guess this is the Wii U, so it didn't come out yet. But you're right. The same games that come out, they should be also jumping all over those too. It shouldn't be that someone is buying this system for their kids, and then they also have to buy an Xbox One or a PS4 for themselves so they can play Call of Duty. They should be cashing right in on it. The problem there, I don't think, is Nintendo, though. I think it's that the companies who are making Call of Duty don't want to program them for the Wii U's capabilities.
But isn't Call of Duty being released on the Wii U?
It might be. It should be. I mean, it's a great point. These things are going to be huge. They are going to sell big.
Yeah,
but maybe one reason might be that they don't have the power. What's up?
They are being released. The problem is there's not enough people playing online on those systems.
Well, that's another point. Yeah, that's a thing. I remember when PlayStation 2 and Xbox were the big thing, and everyone was on Xbox. Nobody was on PS2. Unless people were playing RPGs or single-player games, everybody who wanted to play Halo Online or Halo 2 Online, obviously those are only on Xbox. But look at 360 versus PS3, Call of Duty versus Call of Duty. Anybody who was playing online was going right to Xbox because everybody was on there.
And that's the big thing, though. It's basically something that you kind of see where the company itself doesn't seem to understand what it's doing. It's not.
I remember when the Wii U came out. I cannot remember the game that came out for it, but Zombie U. I'm pretty sure when the Wii U came out, none of the games were online capable, right?
Yeah.
It isn't the 80s or the 90s. Everything should have an online capability. I prefer personally 4 people sitting on the same couch playing games, but people who are best friends may not have actually ever met each other. They might only know each other through the internet. And this is something that I think PlayStation and I think Xbox, which I'd never like to say anything nice about them, but I will say this is something that they do correctly. They've implemented this online thing, which Nintendo has completely neglected.
Yeah, of course.
Take care of it. People want it. Like when we talked about digital versus, physical, I understand when Chris was saying that, what is the market for some of these games physical? And if there's none, release it only digital. I understand what he's saying. And you have to take that same type of idea and thinking and say, what is the market of this online? And I guarantee you the market for that online is going to be more than it's going to be for single player.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And that's the thing. A lot of people want to play with their friends online. That's like me and you. We want to play online. We don't want to basically play offline in terms of my games. And I can understand, and that actually leads to another question that we've got, because Hyrule Warriors has been revealed to only have local multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's like they're screwing the pooch with themselves. It's like, we've got online play, people like to play online, but we're refusing to do it. And apparently part of the reason they're saying is because Iwata doesn't like the internet.
This whole personal bias bullshit just needs to go away. It's like, who cares what you like, what you support? It doesn't matter. Things are selling, and if you're not going there, you're going to be left behind. If and when if and when Nintendo goes under, I will be heartbroken. I don't have a Wii U, and granted, I didn't have a Wii when it was selling, and I haven't necessarily supported. I mean, I still buy 3DS games, and I bought a 3DS, so I do support Nintendo. And even if I wasn't buying a 3DS, Nintendo still, is my childhood, and it's someone who I've always supported, and it's someone who I've always loved. And the day that they do, and if they do, and when they do go under, I will be heartbroken about it. But this is like the snake that's eating itself. It's like you need to go and fix things. There's certain things I think Nintendo does better than Microsoft and Microsoft and PlayStation or Sony, and there's certain things I think Sony and Microsoft do better than Nintendo. And Nintendo needs to incorporate their good thoughts and the other two's good thoughts and make one thing altogether. They need to support online gaming. They need to support mature-rated stuff, to the nth degree, as well as E-rated stuff to the nth degree. They don't have to be one spectrum or the other. They need to be both. They don't necessarily have to make all of this stuff that's so, revolutionary that nobody wants to code for it because it's such a pain in the ass to do. And if they just do these things, they just need to make the best system. They need to make the number one system possible, and they're capable of doing it. Hell, I mean, even the other two are capable of doing it, but money is what's stopping them from doing it. I don't know what's stopping Nintendo.
I think it has to do with their family friendliness in terms of the internet. When you're a family-friendly company, you don't want some kid getting on the internet and seeing porn. You don't want to hear the stories about Microsoft and Sony, where you get these kids talking trash and using a lot of profanity. When you're a family-friendly company, you're not going to think along those lines of exposing people to this. But they have to understand, people think for themselves. They're going to be exposed to it anyways, so what's the big deal?
Yeah, it's a great point. I totally agree. It's like, Burhan, what was that called? What was that Snapchat thing? No, but the thing that does on the 3DS that got taken away.
Photo chat type deal. They had to get rid of it because they found that people were putting illicit images of penises and stuff on it. And
everyone here has good points that, they're trying to stay this family-friendly company. And it's like, it's almost like you against the world at that point, where it's like, the whole world is this internet that's, obsessed with porn and being assholes. And they're trying to make something that people like. And they're trying, and that's probably why they're trying to incorporate the two, and they probably don't know how. But it's a good point that people can think for themselves, and that's how it has to be. I just feel, if you don't want your kid going on something, just, I guess, make it so you can, put in a code that they won't guess, because dividing a system and making it so someone has to buy something different for themselves, that if someone's like, oh, I need to buy a PS4 because I'm not interested in anything on the Wii U, and it's like, oh, my kid has to play on the Wii U because I don't want to play anything on the PS4. It's dividing marketing, it's dividing everything, it's dividing profits, it's dividing everything. They need to, I guess, figure a way. I mean, someone can figure it out. People have done crazier feats in 300 years ago, that people still can't do now. So someone somewhere can figure it out, and they can bring this to what it's supposed to be, and I think eventually it will get there.
So moving on from that, ex-military ruler is suing the makers of Call of Duty over its Black Ops game. It's Manuel Noriega, the former dictator of Panama, is suing them because they placed his likeness in the video game. The 8-year-old is currently serving a jail sentence in Panama for crimes committed during the time in power, including murder of critics. And the lawyer said this was one of the latest growing trend in such lawsuits. He had called the right to publicity, which gives them control over how a person is depicted in commerce, including video games, explains Juar Puria, of Interactive Entertainment lawyer. There's also been a very well-known action by a whole series of college athletes against Electronic Arts, and America Bands, no doubt, took action against Activision over an issue, among other cases. It all focuses on the American legal ability of the individual to lay on a depicted character, which means they can have it with their permission, with practice, and also payment of a fee. But Noriega isn't a U.S. citizen or even a resident, which means that his legal team can claim because questionable, because it's unclear of what the legal basis is according to the law outside of the United States. So what do you think? Does he have a right to do this?
I mean, yeah, he probably has a right. I'm just saying it's, I don't know. I just feel like there's things that happen in this world, and when people want to recreate them as, you know, a video game or a book or a movie, everybody else is like, oh, this is my likeness, this is my whatever, you know, this is whatever, and you know, like, you owe me money pretty much, or, you know, pay me or get it out of the game. And it's like, you know, when I was in the military, I realized that I met a ton of people. I met, you know, thousands of people, you know, the different places I had been, and I realized there's only so many different types of people. You have, you know, I don't know, you just have to, if I could just transfer my brain to, you know, other people via like USB, and I could say, this is what I mean, this is what would be what I mean. There's only so many different types of people, whether it's look or design of the person in general. But yes, they're using, I guess, him as a direct thing, but I don't know, it's just, you're using it in this, you know, in this specific way, and for some, like, if you're trying to say like you use like Watchmen, where they made this like this alternate 1980s where Richard Nixon was still the president. Like, that's a cool idea, where he's still the president, and like the world is on the brink of like world, you know, destroying itself. Go from there and write a story. You know, I wouldn't like the fact that he might be able to say, oh, I don't like they're using my likeness, you know, do something else. There's a reason they used him to begin with. There's a reason that these people used, you know, this guy to begin with in their game. They wanted him in there because probably of whatever the hell he did, or, you know, in general. And I don't know, it's just, it just takes away from people, like, I guess, trying to tell a story, you know? It's like, you know, you look at like Seinfeld and things like that, of like, where the guy who was actually Kramer wanted all this money just because they used his name and likeness in the show, and I don't know, it's whatever.
Well, so the guy who wasn't actually Kramer. Yeah,
so Larry David's neighbor was named Kenny Kramer.
Okay.
And he pretty much was Kramer, and he asked Kramer, like, hey, you know, can I use your pretty much your likeness in the show? And he's like, yeah, you can use it as long as I can play Kramer. And they were like, this conversation actually took place in an episode when they were actually making the Jerry Show. Okay. But it actually happened, and pretty much like he made a list of demands, and he's like, you know, if you don't give me all these demands, you can't use my likeness and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, so if you're a guy who like, if you're a guy who, like, every time you see like a rose, rips it out of the ground, tears it up, and throws it back on the ground like all ripped up, and somebody decides to make like a story about, oh, this guy, this is what he does, and then you go, hey, you're using me in your story and I want money for it. But it's like, you did that, you're this person, so why can't I say that? Because you're the one who didn't. No one forced you to do it, you know? It's like, but it's a part of history now, so we want to use it. It's just... But
can't they use it under parody retrospective? Because they could just say they're parodying him.
That's a good point. You know, whatever they have to do, I just don't feel like, you know, if I were to make a game where it's like, instead of Guitar Hero, it's Saxophone Hero, and the person is Bill Clinton, and then Bill Clinton goes like, you know, I want money because that's me. Like, who cares if that's you? You know, you play the saxophone. Are you really going to make me? It's like, you know, go back and change it. It's like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out versus Punch-Out with Mr. Dream, that they had to change because they didn't want to, I guess, pay for the license or whatever anymore. But it's like, I don't know. I guess some people don't see the bigger picture of, like, actually, like, I mean, I don't know if they were mocking this guy or you know, or whatever. I don't know, you know, what's in question. But, you know, it's like, would you rather be a part of something or not? You know, I don't know. It's like somebody else went through all the work to make it. You didn't do anything on it. So.
Very, very true. But you can say the same thing for, like, YouTube and stuff like that. It kind of bugs me to see what's been going on and how things have been manipulated. But it's one of those things that just keeps happening, and people are just going to keep suing because they get money off of people.
Yeah, they're just trying to get money off of people. You know, Booch and I, when we lived together, we had this conversation about Nintendo wanting money from everybody's videos. And, you know, I told Booch, I was like, you know, that sounds legit. They paid for these games to be made. Like, if I'm playing Donkey Kong Country, you know, they paid for the game. You know, they made it or whatever. So, you know, why shouldn't they get money? And Booch had a great point that he was saying this becomes more of like an art style thing. It's that just because I'm using your game, I'm still making my own original content. And that's the thing. These people are. Nintendo has no right to take any of this money from anybody.
Yeah.
It's you know, not even Nintendo, anybody. You know, someone says like, oh, I made, you know, Left 4 Dead and you're playing the game. Like, yes, I'm playing the game, but I bought the game, so I technically should own this game. You know, and I should be able to say whatever I want and do whatever I want over playing the game because I'm making my own content.
And that's the thing. And I think this is where the huge grey area is. You've got these people. It's like me developing an intellectual property. Like some companies have intellectual property contracts to say if you come up with an idea and you're in the office and
right, it belongs to you.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I came up with the idea, I implemented that idea, I put all the hard work in, but you're just going to turn me around and say that you own it.
Well, that's, to be fair, they do that. Like they tell you that when you like apply for the job.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's in a contract somewhere. So I guess the best point at that place is to just do everything outside of work, or, you know, I don't know how far this umbrella goes, whether if it's like as long as you're employed with us. But yeah, some people do that. I remember when Little Big Planet came out, everything that people made was owned by Sony, and it didn't matter what they made. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's like, you know, they're, I don't know. It's gotten to a point where everyone wants to own everything. Everybody wants money from absolutely everything. You know, people left television because of all the commercials to go to the internet because there were no commercials. Then people realized that on the internet they could make money using commercials just like television. So then people are like, you know, this isn't, you know, I might as well go back to television because I'm still watching just as many commercials.
Because there's a huge legal gray area in everything now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge legal gray area. I mean, especially you look at, for a prime example, physical media versus DRM, like digital rights management. I can buy a CD and give it to you tomorrow, and it doesn't matter. I can download a CD or buy it over iTunes, and I don't know if there's even any way for me to ever even give it to you, even though I technically own it. I paid just as much money for it as I paid for the CD. But there's like different rights for digital things versus physical things. Yeah,
and that's the big thing here. And when you look at it and you look at what's happening at the moment, everyone's suing everyone because everyone thinks they have a right to the piece of the pie.
Yeah.
Now, that's the big thing here, because by doing that and allowing this to happen, it kind of has this huge grey area which no one has managed to resolve as of yet. And I think that needs to be resolved soon, otherwise it's going to get worse, as it has been doing, because game companies like Nintendo have been trying to shut down videos because they want to cut, or you've had people who tried to shut down developers or reviewers because they've given something a bad review, and they've bit them in the fucking foot over it. Now, having celebrities sue game companies for their likenesses in games, it's going to make things even worse. You know.
Yeah, it's just, you're right. It's just, everyone wants a piece of the pie. You know, everyone wants a piece of this, piece of that. You know, oh, this looks like me. I'm gonna, say whatever. It's just, I don't know. It's like you didn't do anything. You know.
Yeah.
That's like me building a house and taking my entire time, and someone comes up and goes it's just like, oh, I just like this design. I just thought of it, and this is my design. And then someone goes, oh, actually that looks just like the house that I have. So whatever you get off of that, the design. I designed my house that way. It's just. It's going to be, first of all, we're living in this world that's so gigantic at this point. You're reaching out to billions of people that you're going to be stepping on somebody's toes. That's the thing. That's what's going to happen. There's no way of avoiding it. And the fact that suing, I want to sue you, I want to get money from this, I want to be a part of this, they're just trying to, pamper their own life so they don't have to do anything.
Yeah, it's ambulance chasing in a sense. And
Lindsay Lohan, trying to sue the people who spent years and years and years and millions of dollars making Grand Theft Auto 5, saying this was made to look like me.
She looks like a crack whore, by the way, so I don't think that looks like her.
It's just the idea is that you didn't do anything. You deserve nothing. What looks like you? That you are a white woman who's skinny with blonde hair. I don't know how many possibilities you need until your fingerprint matches hers on the screen. I don't see how that can be you. That's 1 out of 10 million women.
No, I agree, and the problem is it's extremely sketchy because they're doing this now. This is becoming a new trend, and it's got to stop. And I think there needs to be rules and restrictions in place to say this, so they can disprove arguments like this. Otherwise, if her case is successful, they're fucked because
oh, you better believe it. Everyone's gonna be jumping on that train.
Exactly. Going on to other news now, guys. Nintendo has finally had the Wii U hacked. Now, a hacker by the name, I believe, of... what's his name here? Okay, I'm just trying to find his name. Gary Opa. Basically, he released a picture of an exploit that he did, which was a tunnel. I believe it's the same gentleman that's actually done some Mario Kart 8 hack packs. And he's released a picture of a Wii U gaming pad running unsigned code. Now, the French website LogicSunrise.com reports the news, and it seems that the Wii U has been getting a lot of attention lately, and Nintendo may be responding with a secure patch soon to stop this from happening. Now, it has a few things on the screen. It says A, homebrew, Y, dump your drive key, which is the drive key for the DVD drive, dump the Wii U key, which is the Wii U's sign key, so you could imitate the Wii U's signature on a different console, on a different Wii U console. And if you want to go to more, go to maxconsole.com. So it looks like the code came from maxconsole.com. Zach, what do you think?
The one thing I'm going to say about modding consoles is that I'm 100% for it. I remember when PlayStation 3 was saying that, they were trying to make it illegal where you couldn't mod their console and you couldn't put like a Linux operating system on it. It had to stay the way that they made it. You bought this system, you can do anything that you want to it.
Yeah.
It's that's like saying I bought an NES and 20 years later the 72-pin connector doesn't work, but I can't replace it because I can't go into it and I can't mod it to something better than it was before. It's that people only want when people are going into big mainframes and these systems and stealing information is where I have a problem. If somebody buys something where it's a PlayStation 3 and they're modding it to have a huge hard drive to put Linux on it, whatever they want, they own the console. They paid money for it. It's theirs. They can do whatever they want to it.
So let me ask you a question. If this means that it will lead to piracy, do you think that it's a good thing, or do you think that as long as you mod for homebrew purposes, there shouldn't be an issue?
I'm going to tell you something about this right now.
Okay.
When I was younger, we had two VCRs connected to each other, and I could put a VHS tape in one and a blank VHS tape in another, and I could copy the movie. This is going to happen regardless. I remember when I had a cassette tape with a radio, and a song would come on, and I would record it, and I wouldn't have to go to the store and buy it. These are the things that are going to happen regardless. People are going to change this. They're going to mod this. They're going to do whatever they want. And for people like Sony to be saying, everything has to be legitimate, they're not being optimal about this. They're not thinking correctly about this. People are going to do this. People don't want to pay for every game, and people don't want to pay for every service, and they don't want to pay for all this stuff. And I can understand. I mean, it gets pricey. It gets very pricey. And, to be fair, it's a give and take. But if I were to buy something, and the things that I mentioned before, two VCRs plugged into each other, a radio with a cassette tape, player/recorder on it, those came built in. Those weren't modded at all. That was just two things, connected to each other.
Yeah,
so,
of course. And now you can rip DVDs and Blu-rays using certain applications.
Right, absolutely. It's just, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't really do any of it. I mean, a lot of times, if I really like a CD, I'll buy it on vinyl. I won't buy a CD, but I will buy a vinyl version, and I'll listen to it on YouTube probably, a million times before I do so. I don't know. It's just, there's no such thing as bad, publicity. So it's like, if someone wants to do this, it's their console to do it on. And once they start infringing on your network and infringing on all this kind of stuff, then it's a whole different idea. But people modding the systems, I support it. When I just got this iPhone, and it has like 20 apps on it that I will never use, and there is no way for me to get rid of them. This is like this Nike thing. I don't want it. You can't delete it. So it's like they're pushing all this trash on me. So why is it wrong for people to push back on them?
I agree with you on that one. What about you, Nick? Do you think this is right or wrong?
I have to agree with the fact that if you buy a console, yeah, you should be able to make upgrades to it. I don't understand why companies think that, it's okay, once you buy it, it's still their property. It's not. You're buying it. Yeah, you're going to use services that, like if you stream something on it, but there has to be ownership, and there has to be that limitation, because honestly, if you put limits on what people can do and you say, oh, you can't do this, and you go after somebody when they do it, they're not going to want to buy your product anymore.
No, I agree with you on that one. And that's the big thing here, guys. You got to think about it this way. No matter what happens, people are going to modify these systems. And one of the reasons why the Wii U sold so much, the Wii sold so much, was because people could actually use homebrew patches on the system. I remember people buying droves of these Wii consoles so they could mod them. And it led it to a good little system where people could literally dump their games onto hard drives and just play it off of the hard drive.
Yeah, but I mean, look at every, emulator ROMmed from Atari 2600 to GameCube or or PS2. It's all ROMmed.
Yeah.
People can dump this and use it. I don't know. It's just people. Okay, it's gotten to this point, like especially with the thing with Capcom, where they can't afford, as I quote this, to make these games physical. It's that there's definitely different. There has to be different business practices. There's no way people were able to produce a Super Nintendo cartridge, and now they cannot produce a CD. It just does not make sense. So, they've run themselves in the wrong direction. What's up?
No, I was just saying. So if it was you, and people were basically, hacking your console, you'd be fine with it?
I'm fine with the idea that you can't stop everybody. So it's like, I give you this, there's nothing I can do. If people want to put a hole in it and have sex with it versus mod the thing, there's nothing I can do about it. It's in somebody's personal house. I can stop them from connecting to my internet service, but like, for like doing illegal things, like I know Xbox 360 was doing when they could tell that you used a burned disk to use it. But I will say that modding the system itself, it belongs to them. I'm a person who is completely 100% for free speech, for free anything possible. Like if I sell you something, like if I sell you a Coke bottle and you end up using it as a piss funnel, so be it. You found a different use for it. There's so like if I'm selling you this PS3 or PS4 as it's meant to be used, you opening it up, you are taking the risk. You deserve the reward. If you completely mess that thing up and it becomes a paperweight, then you just wasted $400, and there's no going back to it. The warranty label is broken. But if you do something good and you fix something or you make something better, then you 100% deserve it. I will never stray on my ideas of that. I will never say people shouldn't use specific language, people aren't entitled to their own opinion, and I will never say that they don't deserve to do whatever they want in their own homes. They're not affecting me. Once they come into the PlayStation Network and start stealing credit card numbers is when they're affecting other people and is when there's an issue. Other than that, there is no issue.
Yeah, and so you still haven't fixed that. Fucking get yourself together on that one. So I will say, in terms of that, in my stance on homebrewing, I encourage it 120% because I believe.
Yeah, I back you too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Without that, I remember a time when I first got my Wii. I fixed my Wii. I bought it off of eBay. Some guy left the fucking cog in the thing, fell out because of cheap parts Nintendo used to make it. I popped the cog back in, got the disc out, thing worked, and then I found the Twilight exploit for the system, exploited it, and I could play homebrew games. So it allowed me to play some extra games for the SNES, for MAMI emulations and everything on the system, and it also allowed me to back up all my games onto a hard drive so that I could basically, and I've got 120 games strong in my Wii collection, I backed it up on this hard drive and I played my games. And, for me, I would never go against that because as far as I'm concerned, anyone should be allowed to do what they like with their system. And if somebody puts an exploit together and I decide to use that, then it's no harm done on me. I paid for it.
The thing you have to understand is that if somebody hates something, they're going to tell 100 people that they hate it. But if somebody likes something, they're probably only going to tell like 3 or 10 people that they like it. If somebody really likes your CD or your game or your media of whatever idea, they will buy it. They will pay money to buy the official thing. I have so when it comes to like Boston or Black Sabbath, I refuse to buy their records brand new because there's millions and millions of them, pressed that I can go find for $1 at a flea market.
Yeah.
But when it comes to things that were made in the 90s and 2000s, especially Guns N' Roses, who's my favorite band, they're very difficult to find, and I'm willing to pay what they cost for those. So it's like, if somebody really likes your stuff, they will go out and they will find it. If it costs more money, because there's not a cheaper version, like you can go buy new Black Sabbath records that are made differently with thicker vinyl and, it's heavier, they could buy that, or they could go find the original release of it. But if there is no original release, I've bought Radiohead, I've bought Pantera, I've bought all kinds of stuff that it might have had a record release or not. I paid money for it because I wanted it and I liked it that much. I have a game room full to the gills of video games that I've bought. And yeah, sorry sometimes that the money doesn't go to the publisher because I bought them later or found out about them later in life. But the idea is that I like them so much, I bought them, and that's what will happen. If somebody likes your product, they will buy it. It will be sold.
I remember someone was actually saying before that album sales don't affect the music industry anymore because it's all about the concert sales now. People who pirate your albums most likely will pay the ticket price and go and see you in concert.
That's a good point. And the thing of it is you have to understand these things. People in record companies have to understand we're not just pitching an album. We're pitching a tour. We're pitching a band. We're pitching a concert. There's more things to that than just, the record itself. And whether I buy a record or not, has anything to do with sales. It doesn't really matter. I'm buying these things new, so the money is going to them. I used to go to concerts a lot. I really don't go anymore. When I do, it's something that's like really small and kind of like underground or whatever. But the idea is that like if somebody does like you, they will support you. They will buy your T-shirts. They will buy your music. They will buy your video games. They'll go to your concerts. They'll watch your movies and go to the movie theater. They will do this stuff if they like you. If they don't like you, then you can't even count that as like a loss because you were never really selling to them to begin with. They weren't in the market for your ideas.
No, but I agree with you on that. The thing is, when it comes to it, Nintendo have got to look at the bigger picture is, if they do exploit the console, this is going to sell more Wii U units.
Yeah. It's that, like, people can put as much of restrictions and everything on there, but I'm telling you, the more restrictions you put on there, the more problems you put on there for people to get through, it's just the more willing they're going to be able to be to push through it. They're going to get through. Where there's a will, there's a way, and it will happen. Especially you look at the guy who cracked the iPhone. You know how many people's lives he changed because of that? I don't know. It's going to happen. It will happen. Just because you're part of Sony and you're developing this does not mean you're smarter than somebody who's not part of Sony.
But he was also the guy, by the way, who cracked the iPhone, was also the guy who ended up leaking Sony's code online, and they ended up harassing him through a huge legal battle. I still think he's still being put through the court system as we speak.
Well, for that, don't get me wrong, he deserves to be. I mean, when people call my grandma all the time and feed her these lies. Like, someone called my grandma like, oh, and I guess they just, like, I don't know if they know or they just, like, attempting to guess. And someone called my grandma like, oh, grandma, like, I was out last night and I got drunk and I drove home and I got in an accident and I got to pay some of this money. Can you wire it to me? So these people are the fucking, like, underbelly garbage of the world, and they're trying to rob my fucking grandma, trying to be like me. Of course, my grandma just calls me and is like, are you okay? And, of course, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But it's like, so when people get to this thing where they're trying to expose something for the gain, like, of others, is when there's a problem. Like, oh, I'm going to steal your credit card and then use it to buy shit. when someone's exposed, like, fixing their own console and doing whatever they want to their own console, they own it. They're not trying to mess with anyone. They're not trying to steal anybody's stuff. They're just doing their own thing. And I 100% support it. I feel that is where growth comes from. And I know places like Google support, I'm not saying they support that, but I'm saying they support the idea of doing your own thing and growing, your own product or whatever, the people who work for them who make all kinds of random things, that Google has now marketed and sold.
Yeah. So, no, I agree with you. It's the thing is, as I said, the guy who leaked the code for Sony, do you think they had the right to sort of take him to court over this?
Over exposing all their...
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like I said, once it crosses the barrier of affecting other people in, like, monetary ways, like 2 weeks ago, somebody got his credit card number and made a purchase for like $1.99. That's what they do. So spoiler alert to people, like they'll make a purchase for like $1.99, and if it doesn't go through, then they know that they can't use the card. But if it goes through, that's when they'll make purchases of thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But luckily, banks have gotten to the point where they be like, oh, well, this purchase was made in Nevada and you live in Massachusetts, so they'll send you a text like, was this you? And if you say, yeah, that was me, then they let it go through, or they call you or whatever. And if you don't, then they deny the charge or whatever, and they cancel the card immediately, and they send you a new one. So it's like, that is what I don't support. When you're robbing somebody else, and don't get this confused with sharing media, because that's not robbing anybody. People have been doing it forever, and they've still survived. People, if people have been doing it in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and surviving, and you can't survive now, then you need to change your business practices. You need to change how you're doing things, because you obviously don't have the same business model as somebody who did 30 years ago.
Yeah, instead of attacking people that basically have no idea, they're just basically using these, these ideals for their own thing. And
that's
I
exactly
agree.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like the thing, it just irks me to no extent that Capcom says they cannot produce these fucking games.
Mm-hmm.
You are in the cheapest form of media possible. It is a disc in a case with a cover art, and you send it out. And you can't afford that. When I'm paying you $60 for this game, I guess that's neither here nor there. Once you start hacking things to steal people's information and exploit them is when there's an issue. If you buy a PlayStation 3 and you hack it and exploit it for your own benefit, not affecting anybody else, there's no problem. You paid money for the console. You own it. You can do anything you want with it. You can put a hole on it and have sex with it with all you want.
So going on from that, guys, we're going to talk about one last thing before we wrap the show up tonight. And what we're going to talk about now is basically something that's coming on the Xbox One, which is the EA paid service, is going to be unveiling itself on Xbox One. And this is basically like the paid subscription service that they do for most of their games. What do you think?
Well, it's inevitable. When you see people making money, if you're selling lemonade on the side of the road for 5 cents and someone else is selling lemonade on the other side of the road for 50 cents and they're getting just as much business as you, maybe you should change your shit to be selling it for 50 cents. You look at something like Steam, you look at something like these online things like PlayStation, you look at something like Origins, which is garbage, but the idea is there. It's the online thing, and people are down to do it. I'm not saying there's a sucker born every second for this, but what I will say is that there's people who are interested in it, and there's people that want it, and there's people that will pay money for it. And where there's that, if you don't go with it, then you're just throwing money away.
Well, let me say this. Electronic Arts basically is adapting the service called EA Access, and what you do is for $5 a month, you can basically play any Electronic Arts game on your Xbox One. Anything, anytime, unlimited amount of times, as long as this service is on your system. You can also pay $30 a year and have access to everything. It's kind of like Netflix, but it's the EA way of doing things. So that way they're going to continuously make money off of you, and you don't have to buy a physical copy of their games.
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is, I feel like they don't put that much time and money into their physical games to begin with. So, it's you can look at things like a good deal versus, I guess, not a good deal. It's just, yeah, this is a good deal, but are you going to play everything? Do you care about everything? Like, if you're going to go there to play EA, I don't know, do they make Madden? I don't even know who makes Madden. So if you're a basketball fan and you're paying $5 a month to play this basketball game, well, the next basketball game, the new one, doesn't come out for another year. So you can take $5 or $30, I guess, and play it for the year. But if you're a person who plays absolutely everything they do and all that kind of stuff, you can make the most out of everything. So
let me ask you, Nick. Do you think this is a good idea?
No. I don't think. I think that games should be released and meant to be enjoyed. Whereas, if you want to play a game, you'll find it. If you really want to play that game, telling people, pay this much a year, we'll let you play these games that you want. It's not worth it. I want the game. I want it in my hands. I don't want to have to go digital and stream something in. What if you live in an area where you get affected by a storm that knocks out your power or your internet or whatever like that? You can't play that game, and you're wasting money towards these services. Plus, you have to live in an area probably where you have a very good high-speed internet connection. How many people who live in a rural area, such as myself, who may live in a farm or whatever, that have to rely on satellite or something like that, which is not the best? They're wasting their money on these services when they can go out and they can buy a game and they can enjoy it without having to stream it.
Right, but what if you could beat every game that they have in 2 months, and you only had to pay $10 to beat all of them? So there's some things that there will always be good about these things. I mean, they're just like Blockbuster. They're just like the Redbox, where it's like when the South Park game for Redbox came out, I just went down, or when the South Park game came out, I just went to Redbox and I beat it in like a day. So I only paid like $1 or $2 to beat it when I could have gone to the store and paid $50 for it. So it can be good. The thing of it is I don't know anything that EA does that I give a shit about.
The thing about that is, though, like you said, if you're paying less money for it, like if you're running the game, you can beat in a day or two. That's fine. If you have low income, then that's a perfectly good thing for you. But then you have to think as well, once again, if somebody who's not going to be going to pay in the games because maybe they can't afford it, how well are they going to be paying for the internet service? The other thing I don't like about this is it's going directly all through EA, so you don't really know if their servers are full, how are you going to get access to that game? There's a lot of stuff that people have to look into. They really have to be prepared, because if there's an onslaught and nobody can access it and they're paying for a service, they're going to get pissed and leave.
Well, that's a good point. And I don't know, it's like, I don't know how long did Steam take to become what it is, today, at least being able to operate at full capacity, or of what the people who subscribe to them is full capacity. I don't know. It's you look at this versus PlayStation Now, and I think even though I don't give a shit about anything EA does, with the exception of Alice Madness Returns, I can't wait to play that game. But very little things EA does interest me. But the thing of it is that if you are a huge EA fan, it is a big benefit. Like $5 a month to play 30 days. I don't know how many hours that is, but like if you don't, if you have all the weekends off and you have $5 a month, like you can't beat that. But yeah, to be fair, there's nothing physical and whatever. But if you don't give a shit, it's it's a good idea. It is good. $50. That's nothing.
If you don't care about having the game and you're just more like, I just want to play it and the game means nothing to you, I can see your point on that. I can't see your point on that. I look at things a little bit differently, because I've been through situations where I've had no internet for a week at a time because the weather's knocked it out, no power at a time, and I have to think, if I'm going to be paying for this service, I should be able to have full access to it. And that's where I have to look at that. I don't know where you live, the area that you live in, but where I live, like I said, it's a lot of rural area, and you have to think, is this going to be beneficial to the people that live in that area? Because bigger cities, you're going to get more people doing that.
No, that's a good point. You're if you're paying $5, even though it's only $5, if you lose a day because of weather or whatever, then you are wasting money. 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember at this point, when I was living with Booch, we had this storm in October, and the problem was that none of the trees had lost all their leaves, and it was a huge snowstorm, and it broke all these wires and power cables and internet shit and all this stuff, and we didn't have power or internet for a week and a half or whatever. And, luckily it wasn't that cold or whatever, but, it's like that's the kind of thing. It's like, this is now money thrown away because I didn't get to play. So, what is going to be reimbursed to me? But I guess this is the stuff they're probably all coming up with, at while they're doing this, that people are going to have these issues. So they're going to have to say something about it.
Well, the only thing I can need to say about this is, in the end, it's a good thing because it's one of those things where you could basically play these EA games on a budget, which is, for most people, that is great. If you're an EA fan, kudos. It means you get access to this Access system, which is basically just another variation of their Origin system. In terms of me and everybody else who are more casual gamers of EA games, I don't think it will work as an incentive. Now, leaving out of that, guys, let's move on to the plugs. Zach, plug away.
Yeah, all right. You guys can catch me at youtube.com/gettingyournerdon. I'm actually going to have a video up tomorrow. You can also catch me and go to YouTube. Just search Getting Your Nerd on there. And also you can catch the band that I'm in, Killtech9, KILLTAC-9, and you can find us there, SoundCloud, or I don't know, wherever, Bandcamp, wherever we happen to be. So yeah, check us out, and if you like it, sub. If you don't, then don't and tell me I'm a loser. So either way, it won't break my heart.
What about you, Nick?
You can find me on the Facebooks at Nick T. Wolf YouTube. You can also find me on YouTube under Nick T. Wolf, and I've got a couple of videos coming up. A couple game-related, a couple movie-related. So, yeah, I'm hoping to get some more stuff in there.
Oh, I've inspired you to do movie reviews? Oh, cool. There you go, guys. And you can find me on youtube.com/TheNerdGenius. I'm going to have some videos up tomorrow. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 review is basically, I know I haven't done a lot of movie file reviews since the Godzilla one. It's because I've been very busy doing interviews, working extremely hard, making sure I get content for the channel. I've got another street interviews coming up as well. We're going to be doing another one on Monday. So myself and Ash are actually going to go out to Central London and ask people about tattoos and piercings. So if you're up in the London area, just make sure you give us a shout, and we will most happily love to talk to you. I'm also got a couple of interviews from Hyper Japan. You can also check myself, Zach, and also Xander Scullion by going to nerdgenius.com and also retroanum.com, because we're all members of both those sites as well, and you can just basically check out all our content on those sites. I got gameplay next week, 8 p.m. It's going to probably go back to another theme show. I thought today we'll spitball some news because it's been a while since we've actually covered the news appropriately, so I thought we'd do a nice show. If you like this format, guys, and like the way the show is presented today, give us a shout. And I'm also placing a donate button on the Nerd Genius site so you can donate towards these projects as well and help us keep striving for our success. For those, I want to say thank you for everybody that listens to these shows. We're having 1,000 listens strong per episode now. It's been amazing, and it's something that I have to thank everyone. I've got to thank the guests as well, of course, of Megaran, Rossiter, who on our previous shows, our Feminism in Gaming, where Zach and Jamie were arguing to the teeth, actually amassed over 1,000 views as well. So, I've got to thank everyone for that. The show's been doing great, strength to strength. I want to give a shout out to Xander Scullion, of course. Check him out, Exit Gaming Podcast, and his YouTube channel, Xander Scullion. Jamie Styles as well, youtube.com/CMG, and also check out a cosplaying page, which is Hazardous Cosplay. She's on Instagram as well. You can check me on Instagram, Enigma Mike, Twitter, @Michael Burhan, Facebook, Michael Burhan as well. I have a book that's currently out. If you want to check it out, it's called Dear John. It's a play that I've written. Check it out. You can get it on Amazon Premium service for free, so you can rent it for free on there. Get it on Kindle Unlimited for absolutely free as part of that subscription service as well. And you can also purchase it for $3.13 or £1.29. Check it out. Give it a go. Have a read. I would love to see what everybody's opinions of it are. It's not the conventional book in a sense because it's a play, so it's been written as a play. And also you can check out another project that I'm doing at the moment, which is we've been given the rights by Konami to shoot a Silent Hill TV pilot. I'm in the process of finishing that script. Zach's been enjoying it, haven't you, Zach?
Loving it, absolutely. I'm about to actually read the other two you sent me today. I've been super busy, but I'm going to read them tonight.
Awesome. So, guys, make sure that you check that out as well. And as always, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's, been on the show. We're nearly at 100 episodes strong. It's been great, from the first episode I've done to all the way up to episode 87, which we're currently on. It's gone strength to strength, and we've seen the rotation of different co-hosts and stuff. But it's been amazing since I've had Zach on. Kyla, we miss you. Sam Jennings, again, we miss you. Jamie, Xander, Nick, everybody that's been on the show, including Travis as well, Craig Kellerman. Everybody that's been on this show has given it volumes and volumes and add to the show as well. Shout out to our guests as well that we've had, including Rob Mann, who's been a co-host guest on the show twice, actually. And, to everybody, and thank you to everybody who's been listening in. And so for Zach Latour, for Nick Enderley, I am Michael Burhan, and I am saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, that we've got gameplay. Let me see if I can find it this time. Have you?